For those of you listening to the audio version of this podcast, I'm in a cowboy hat. Yeehaw. And so I've taken a country heel turn. I did tease this on my Instagram. Ridiculous. Sometimes like the famous bit gets really funny to me personally. And I think that might be the only person that it's funny to, the bit that I'm extremely famous. Because I am extremely famous. I mean like 51, 52 subscribers now. And I got my first organic comment. I don't know if I talked about this last episode, but I did also just share that on the Instagram. I got organic comments. Not on my Bonnaroo episode, not my most recent, but the one prior. Someone said, IDK who you are, but you cool, dog. Okay, guys. So I'm kind of big time in it. And then somebody else commented below that. Oh my God, somebody replied and said, like, honestly, the aura in this thumbnail is so whatever. Like, I had to come see if it was real. LMAO. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? But I'm also like, of course. I'm like, duh. I obviously think I'm making good content here at Gab with Sav. And so I'm proud of my work. Well, I've told y'all this before, that this feels like the kind of like truest content I can make at this rate without like live streaming. I'll say one thing about live streaming. It gives me the willies, like, to react in real time to stuff and to like actively be performing with like no semblance of editing is obviously like very vulnerable. And you know what? Some people are saying that art is vulnerable. I would be saying that. I've said that for a long time. And so this is me being vulnerable with my art, and it's wearing a cowboy hat today. I don't know if I'll keep it on for the whole video, but until then, I'm here. Looking amazing. By the way, no makeup on today, also for you audio listeners. I'm making the brave decision to do Gab with Sab in the raw today, and that is because I just am kind of not feeling it. And I'm a little bit sick still. I got the Bonnaroo flu, some would say, and I would say that. I got the Bonnaroo flu, but I got it after Colin got it, so I did not get it, like, direct from the source necessarily, but I've got a secondhand case. And so for Bonnaroo, when you want to add that to your statistics that I know Live Nation is collecting because they care so much about us, whatever. Anyway, welcome to Gab with Sab. I am your host, Sabrina Stangler. And if you want to book me, if you're thinking, IDK who you are, but you cool, dog, and you're thinking, I want her to MC my event, I want this girl on the mic for extended periods of time with a live audience, I guess I could make time for that. I guess I could see what I can do. I did something that I suggested last episode, and I wrote down my notes in paper. And so I collected them digitally, but then I like refined them and translated them to paper because this is a high production value podcast. Something else I want to say before I get into the topics that I have at hand, and that is that I'm considering rolling some dice today. I've been watching a lot of content on Instagram that is like rolling dice and getting some like variation of a product or like a collection of products. And so I've been watching Artisan, who has been shouted out on this channel before actually. They are making roll for your bags that they are designing themselves and that are customizable and that are built with accessibility in mind. So they have things like chest straps to distribute weight, more specifically like a cane strap, or like, so they will roll D&D dice, which are like, D12s, D20s, D10s. They have all the kinds of dice. A D6 is your traditional die, if you will. But anyway, so I want to incorporate some kind of dice throwing action into today's episode. And we'll see how we feel about that. And I just want you guys to let me know in the comments if we want a live feed on the dice. I don't know if it's in the cards for today, but mostly because the device I grabbed to do it is not charged. So I did make some effort towards the high production value stuff. But we have to, Gab with Sab is a weekly podcast as of the last couple weeks. And so I need to make decisions that prioritize delivery. And that's why a sponsor could trust me with today's video. Speaking of which, today's video is not sponsored because I only have 52 subscribers and apparently that's not enough. even though I value each and every single one of my 52 subscribers, names on the tip of my tongue, and I would list them, but I just don't want to waste your valuable time. Brands don't super want to work with me. I do have a affiliate code for Descript, which is the tool that I use to edit these videos, because it transcribes, like it puts it into like words and like a script, your entire video, and then you can edit it like a document instead of having to do strictly timeline editing. And then because of that, it also generates subtitles for you, and that is awesome and accessible. It's cool. And so I get a $25 kickback if you use my link and sign up for a subscription with Descript. They did not continue to grandfather me into their payment plan. That was $20, 17 or something for 15 hours of transcription time a month. And now I'm paying $24, and so I don't know what the fuck is up with that, Descript, but maybe consider, I would just love to renegotiate our deal. So I'm going to incorporate dice. I think I'm going to do it by picking our first topic. And so I have 4 things, and so then I do have a D4. And so I'm going to roll it, and that will determine where we start. And so we did go ahead and get number 1. And so that is going to mean that I tell you what my last meal would be. And it's a really simple one. It's not. It's not simple at all. And so my last meal would be sloppy Joe mac and cheese, because not only do I fucking love sloppy Joe mac and cheese, it messes up my body something crazy. It's so bad for me. It's so bad because it's a lot of pasta, it's a lot of cheese, it's a lot of meat and like sweet sauce and stuff. It's so damn good. And so that would be my last meal. I would obviously request that my mom make it because she makes the best one. And so don't think I'm going out on a limb there saying that, but it would be like it would definitely be an elbow noodle. I'm an elbow noodle, 10 toes down on the elbow noodle as the best like macaroni and cheese noodle. I know cavatappi is getting some press right now, but it's truly quite and simply not as good as an elbow noodle. I want to be able to like scoop and get several noodles. I don't want to have to use a fucking fork and like stab my noodles to get them. I want to be able to eat it with a spoon. And so maybe that's a hot take. I also used to put ketchup on my Kraft mac and cheese, and I still do that, but I don't eat Kraft mac and cheese. And so I haven't done it in a while, but I know I stand by it. I know it's good. And so that would be my last meal. I'm hoping that I don't have to have that soon, assuming I would be able to predict what mine was in like a death penalty situation. But I was, I guess, doing this as like a mental health check-in, that I'm like really hoping not to die soon. And so I'm feeling like optimistic about life generally. And so I don't know, things were definitely on an up over the last few weeks, like leading up to Bonnaroo and then including Bonnaroo and the week after. But I think the issue is that I've been eating more lactose and it's messing with my tummy and my mood. I think that might just be the case for the last couple days, but then before that I was on my period. I also am sick, as I was saying, and so the Bonnaroo flu. And so, I don't know, it's been a bit of a downswing, but I'm determined to turn this car back around. Like, we're not losing the momentum that we got swinging this far. I am going to use it, and I'm going to, use it or lose it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my attitude towards life at the minute. Use it or lose it. Let's roll for the next topic. Okay, so we got a 3, and so that is going to be basil strips. So when I was making some pasta earlier this week, we have basil growing in our garden, so I went ahead and grabbed some fresh basil leaves, and then I laid them all on top of one another and rolled them up and then cut it into little basil strips. And then I said, basil strips. Basil gets on the pole and starts removing her bikini. Basil strips. Let's roll for the next topic. Okay, we got a 1 again, and we already covered that one, so we're going to have to roll again. And we got a 3, and we already covered that one, so we're going to have to roll again. And we got a 3 again. Okay, give me a fresh hot second. And we got a 1 again. God damn it. And there we got a 2. For reference, I'm doing this in like a little dice box. And so I don't know how much of this you can see, but it's a dice box provided by an unnamed hotel and casino in the Milwaukee area. Fuck them. I do think, let me do an offshoot about casinos here. I do think that they are generally bad. That being said, I have gone to many a casino, many an occasion. That said, I know that they are predatory, and so I know I'm like doing a deal with the devil, you know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't get to like choose whether or not I engage in it in a healthy way because there's someone preying on me, like, to stay there as much as possible, to like be there as much as possible, spend as much money as possible. And so like they're not there so that I can make money. They're trying, like, it behooves them to like make me have a good experience while losing money. I have like considered that in some ways entertainment in the past. It's generally a more expensive entertainment, like I guess on the spectrum of entertainment options, with like I guess a Taylor Swift concert being at the very fucking far end. Fuck you, girl. $200,000 for tickets. I'm just kidding. I don't think they were $2,000. But they were like getting up into the thousands, which is insane. I do understand that like tour is a costly process. I do think we're doing too much. I think we're doing too much. And let's talk about theatrics in tour productions, because I think I really admire a thriftiness to the tour setup. Like, let's do cool stuff, but let's kind of work with what we got. Like, maybe we don't need to soar above the crowd on a platform or something. Like, and I'm not trying to like take a dig at anybody in particular. I'm just trying to say, like, if you have to raise the price of my ticket to accommodate delivering a mobile stage above our heads, for example, I'd rather buy a cheaper ticket. But yeah, I just don't think that like it's super important to be delivering on that kind of level. I don't know why I'm holding this. Just, it's grounding me. I guess it's just what I said. Like, I'd rather just have a cheaper ticket. And also I think about, and this might be really fucking whatever, hippie leftist of me, but like there's an environmental impact to like traveling heavily and bringing different equipment from city to city across the nation, across the world. And I think when we're wagering our like carbon footprint or our like environmental impact, like maybe let's consider being a little more thrifty with the theatrics of the setup. And like, I don't know, we've done a lot. And again, it's cool, but like, I think it would be generally my opinion that we should strip it back a little bit, and that I admire a stripped back set. Like, I think that there are ways to do theatrics, and so like, and you're talking to a bitch that loves a screen. Like, I love a screen delivering us some other kind of art, and I think I loved that initially from like electronic music, like EDM, if you will. And I was like, dude, visuals with the music is crazy. Like, I'm so engaged in this content. It's so like really fucking, you can just like really kind of get into it. Like, everybody's engaged. It's very cool. So I love a screen, but I think that there's like, I think I'm running in circles. And this was all about basil strips, if I may remind you. So now I got a 2. I rolled a 2, I rolled a 2, and I was talking about Potawatomi Hotel and Casino and how they are, or how I was talking about how I think that casinos are generally bad. And you see how I remembered by putting my hand back over here? Yes. The body always remembers. So I do think casinos are generally predatory and that that's generally bad. And I do recognize, and I think that maybe this is just true in Wisconsin, but all of the hotels and casinos are on like native land and like reservations and such. Like, not reservations, as I don't actually know if that word is like agnostic to like different forms of inhabitation, or if that is just like meant to be like where native people live, because I think native people don't all live on a reservation. Like, that's, God, I sound fucking stupid. I know that not all native people live on a reservation, obviously. I feel that them being a tool to put money into the hands of Native people, like Native American people, is generally good, like in a reparations kind of way. And because of that, and the fact that I can like kind of spin it in my head as entertainment, these are all reasons that I see casinos as kind of like morally gray territory, much like everything. But I think that in terms of them being morally gray, they fall further on the side of like not good. And I will continue to probably patron their establishments. I think it's likely that I will be back to a casino, though I haven't been in like a few months, like 6 months, 5 months, 4 months. Okay, and we're back. I did have to take a little break to hydrate, but it's time to talk about topic number 2, which is the third topic we're covering, but is topic number 2 according to the dice roll. And that is that I'm using the exclamation mark emoji pretty fast and loose at this point. I'm feeling kind of lazy with it. Like, I think I've dialed it back since I wrote this note originally, like on my phone a few weeks ago, but I really just started slinging it everywhere, and like the people around me were using it so frequently that it was just like, it was starting to get kind of like commonplace, I guess. And so I don't know, I have some type of way about feeling like other girls. Annoying. In case the fucking footage got cut, that was an eye roll, but good posture. I was gonna say, something I love about this chair is that I can sit cross-legged. I don't know if you can tell that that's what I'm doing, but I am. And so it's nice that way. I don't know. This is like a really good podcast recording chair. And I also sit here and do other stuff sometimes, but I also put this chair in the living room sometimes. I move it between spaces. It's really dynamic in that way because it's pretty light. I'm like actually big into this chair. I'll link it below if anybody is curious or interested. It was $200 at the IKEA, but I actually originally saw this chair. I'll reel this back in, I promise. I saw this chair for the first time in my new friend's apartment. Somebody I met in Berlin, they had this chair in black, and they were like, this chair is from the 70s, IKEA stuff, like it's so bitchin'. And I was like, dude, it's so bitchin'. I want that chair. And then lo and behold, IKEA does like a 70s renewal collection or whatever and releases this chair. And I was like, obviously I'm going to fucking get that. Obviously I'm going to fucking get that, dude. I'm saying it so angrily because it was $200, bro. And so I know like when it comes to furniture new, I am like probably on the low end of like what a chair can cost. Maybe in the middle. I think brand new IKEA furniture can be like kind of middle of the road versus something that you might get at like a Walmart or what you may have gotten in the past from like a Sears. Did Sears ever do furniture? They must have. And so anyway, love this chair down, and well, I guess we don't have to roll for the last topic because we know what it is, but let me see if I get it first try. I'm going to put you by the sound this time. There, we got it. It just took 4 rolls. Whatever. That's fine. 4 for 4. And so the last thing that we'll get to before we get into Love Island. Oh my fucking God. It'll be in the title, but the second half of this episode is going to be Love Island. And so if you're not interested in that, you can go ahead and leave. But before that, I will tell you my 4th topic. And that is that I came up with the phrase practicing my P muscle, meaning I'm exercising patience. And so when I'm exercising patience, I'm practicing my P muscle. I'm flexing my P muscle. And that is practicing patience. It really is. I had to do this because I was at work, and basically we were brewing 2 pots of coffee at the same time. And by 2 pots of coffee, I mean like 2 carafes of coffee, like big pots of coffee. And the machine went ahead and said, that's too much for me. I actually have an empty water reservoir, and oh geez, would you look at that? I'm just gonna stop. I'm not gonna like do the math to prioritize one over the other, or say like you need to wait a certain amount of time to run the next one effectively. It's just like I had to practice my P muscle. Like it was like, it is what it is. We have to dump both of these existing crafts, like the ones that were in progress, are no good. They're no good anymore. We can't like fix them. It's not going to be a good representation of our quality of coffee. And so we do go ahead and like just pour that down the drain. And so like obviously that is just kind of like the cost of doing business in a kind of like food service environment. Like some stuff is just going to get wasted. And when it comes to coffee too, it's not like oh, someone could have been fed off of that. It's like an optional beverage, you know what I mean? Not that like people don't have like a, I don't know, like addictive relationship to it and like might need it effectively, but it's not like we're the only ones providing that whatever. So that's why I was practicing my pee muscle, because we had to dump the coffee and then start the urns all over again, and we're like doing this in the morning before a scheduled market, and so we were late to market setup, so we had to kind of like hustle, and there was like a line accumulating of people who wanted coffee, and we were not yet ready. I made a big mistake, and I dumped ice when I should have left it bagged in the cooler for the stuff that we serve in the cups to the customer. I don't know why. I know that this cooler is not a sanitary environment, and for some reason I was like, yeah, I'm supposed to dump it into the fucking cooler. What the fuck? And so it was a big oopsie. I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm trying not to freak out too much about it. But it's to say, like, it's important to me to be good at my job, do my best to like set my team members up for success. And so like, cause they're like counting on me to do something, you know, like use my fucking brain. And so whatever. I think I'm being a little hard on myself. I think it's just like mistakes happen, and you're just hearing me cope about this in real time. Like, whatever. Okay, with this all behind us, we have a new die to roll, and that is going to be a D20, because I listed all 19 of the contestants that I'm interested in talking about, and then I also made 20 Ariana Maddox, because I want to talk about her, and I will initiate us off actually by making like a sweeping statement about the season, and that's that Ian's jokes are good. I'm chuckling and I'm giggling. I'm like, I like that one. It brings a smile to my face. Like, I'm not belly laughing, but I'm like, you really snapped with that one. Like, no, okay, actually, I want to talk about the main cast before I talk about our secondary characters and who are becoming main characters. Like, I'm not trying to like, but like Casa Amora is like kind of a, like, there's OGs and then there's the Casa people. Like, it's a cutoff. So I want to talk about the OGs first. And so that is a list of 12. And so I'm going to roll a 12 because I have that too. I've got a full set. I'll include a picture. And so my D12 is, you probably can't see anything on it because it's quite dark. All of my dice are speckled. And so this one is like a very dark red with like some kind of light blue speckling. And then the numbers are blue as well. They're like a medium blue, a medium light blue. They could definitely be lighter. It's kind of hard to see them if I'm being super honest, but I picked these dice out of like a bin of like build your own set. And so I dug through this, like, I don't know, casserole dish effectively of dice. There was 2 separate ones, but effectively it was like a 9x12 casserole dish of dice. And I picked a set of, 7 dice that span the spectrum of what I could possibly need if I were to play a game of D&D. And so I have a D4, I have a D6, I have a D8, I have 2 D10s, I have a D12, and then I have a D20. Anyway, let's roll this D12 for the original cast. And we got a 2. And so that's Sincere. And I'll start here, and then I'll maybe do, like, whatever I roll, I'll do their couple too. Sincere, I'm your biggest op. I actually am really upset with you because I see like mistakes that I've made myself in you in this like understanding of what it is to be like honest and trustworthy. And it is that, like, he said basically like I'll tell the truth without telling the whole truth. And I was like, Mama, that's lying. Like, you're lying. And so it pisses me off because it is like I see how dangerous that is. And I see that I have like used that line of reasoning in the past. And this feels very vulnerable. Like, you guys, like, that's to say, like, I've lied in the past. I've like lied and I've been caught in my lie and felt like a fool and felt not only like a fool, but like a monster. Like, I can't believe that I was just gonna not say something. And so, yeah, I don't know if I want to give him this, like, this benefit of the doubt necessarily, because I think that he's being a dick about it. With the conversation that he had with Soul after he wrote his letter to Melanie instead of Soul, he was like, oh, I guess it's just a rain on sincere parade. And, you can't act like you were an angel either. And it's like, actually, what the fuck are you talking about? Because she didn't do anything. She didn't do anything wrong. Like, and not in like we weren't able to clock her for something. Like, she's literally just blameless. Like, you hurt her, and maybe you should feel bad about it. You fucking asshole, dude. Like, shut the fuck up. And then he also, he loves a Band-Aid apology. I think when Melanie said that, she clocked that so correctly. That he loves to be like, well, I am sorry about it, so that means, like, I'm entitled to your forgiveness, basically. And, like, again, I guess, like, outing myself here, like, I'm someone who has, like, done wrong things and learned from them. And anyways, like, in the meantime, like, apologized for it and said, like, I know that what I did hurt you, and I am gonna, like, work to make up for that and make sure that something like that doesn't happen again. And not even just, like, in that realm, but I, like, am gonna make an effort to, like, grow as a person from that and keep you out of harm's way. And I, like, I'm so fucking sorry, right? Like, and I know that doesn't mean, like they could still say, like, that's not good enough for me. I don't feel like I am ever entitled to somebody's forgiveness when I am, and when I have, like, a misgiving against them. It's like, I don't know, Diva, that's up to you. And so Sincere does not think it's up to you. Sincere is like, what are you talking about? He's like, I apologize. Why are we still talking about this? So honestly, fuck you, Sincere. That's like a bit, let me back up. Not fuck you, Sincere, but, like, damn, you're, like, so irresponsible with it. Like, the way that I'm using the double exclamation mark emoji is, like, how Sincere is engaging with people. Like, he's engaging with them fully and completely when he's with each of the other and making promises he can't keep between them. So, like, I see the earnest effort in it. And I think it's dangerous because of that, because he thinks he's a good person doing good things, and he's not willing to, like, I don't know, really, it seems like he's not willing to, like, absorb those wrongdoings into himself and say, like, now that's part of me and part of who I am. And he's instead, like, washing it off of him. He's like, okay, now I don't have to think about this anymore. And you shouldn't see that as part of me either. Like, I'm going to act like it never happened, basically. And it's like, no. Again, like, as a person who has done wrong, I'm like, and now we have to live with that. And I recognize the responsibility in me making this your reality too. Like, I feel like I'm giving a tutorial on how to, like, effectively apologize right now. So if this is news to you, take notes. It's going to be on the quiz. Like, this is maybe the most... Like, I'm always joking when I say something is going to be on the quiz, but this is, like, maybe the most deadly serious I am about something that will be there. Like, I feel, this is going to feel embarrassing, but I feel like I'm good at apologizing. Like, that is crazy. That is a crazy thing to say. Is it not? I might cut this. I don't know, you guys. Why did I, like, I think I'm good at apologizing. And I have had a lot of practice. So sorry, again, to all the people that I've done wrong. There we go. I'm doing some reflecting here in real time, and I think it is a learned behavior. And so I think I am now wielding it for good. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm using what I've learned alongside, like, I'm using it alongside, like, compassion for other people and being like, this is something, I guess I mean to say, like, when I apologize, I just say things that are true. And if I start to have a thought that's not true, I, like, adjust it until it's true. Because I'm not trying to lie. Like, I'm trying to tell you the truth. Like, I'm not going to lie to somebody to make them feel better. Because that's not going to work. They're going to, like, see through it. Like, and I think I think about apology as the same way I think about, like, talking to someone who's, like, too fucked up to, like... and they're, like, thinking differently. I don't know. Like, I don't know if they're, like, not thinking straight for one thing or another, I like feel inclined to tell like a white lie, right? Like something small or something that's like, no, fuck him. But like, I know that they'll see through that, especially like, I don't know. I think I give a lot of power to somebody who's drunk in like being able to like think and ration through what I'm telling them eventually, and then like that becoming a meltdown. And so like I guess we're tapping into like why that is like a learned behavior. Like it is the same, it's like a safety measure. And so like I'm trying to like make myself feel safe by making the other person feel safe too, and like safe and okay. Like it's okay, you're safe, you're safe, you're safe. And so like when I'm apologizing, it's like, hey, I see that I hurt you, and I want to communicate to you that you're still safe with me, that is not something I intend to like replicate. Like that's something I like, now that I see that I've hurt you, I'm veering away from that. So like last night I elbowed Colin in the head twice accidentally, and I felt so damn guilty. I just kept like replaying like the feeling in my elbow of like hitting him, and then being like that immediate like, oh my fucking god, I cannot believe I just did that again. And like, I'm so fucking sorry. Holy shit. Like, I'm sorry that I just hit you twice again accidentally. Like, it makes me feel like clumsy and I guess like dangerous, right? Like, and so if I'm like apologizing for something I did that is more like something I said hurt you or something I did hurt you, then like I've demonstrated that I have it within me to hurt you in that way, or like I could be dangerous. And so what I'm trying to do is be like, hey, just so you know, I intend to be safer in the future. And again, like, I'm not entitled to your forgiveness. It's up to you if you trust me to like be a safe person to be around. And I would totally understand. I'd have to totally understand if you were like, this is not a safe environment for me. And so I need to move. Like in the case of me elbowing Colin in the head, like it would be understandable if he's like, I need to move to the other side of the couch because like I'm afraid you're gonna hit me again, girl. Like you just did it twice accidentally. Like, holy shit. And so I mean, he continued to trust me and continued to sit near me, like, and like I'm saying, I don't think that he like needed to do that. So oh my god, this was about sincere. And so, oh my god, is it a rain on Sabrina parade? Yeah, I'm raining on my own parade. Literally. Like, and it's okay. Like, I again, like in this trying to be like my truest form of content, like I don't want to be dishonest. I want to say things that are not true. I don't want to like willfully omit context, because I want to like inform you, the listener, as much as possible, so that you can like contextualize my perspective and decide whether or not you trust it. Like, I'm trying to give you as much to work with as possible, and I like have the belief that you can hold that complexity. Like, I believe that my audience is willing to like hold me in this gray area and not, I guess and not see me as like a objectively bad person that like has no like chance for redemption. Maybe that is to say, I fear being canceled, if I'm being honest. And I don't think I fear being canceled, actually. Let me roll that back. I think I fear people like not believing that they can expect good out of me, like seeing me as like something that they like expect to do bad. I want like people to think hopefully about me, that they think like I can count on her, I can trust her. Yeah, I want people to feel like they can count on me to like have their best interest in mind. And I want everyone to think I have their best interest in mind, generally speaking. Like, I want my friends and my loved ones to feel like they're important and they're a priority to me. But I also want like strangers that I interact with to think that like their well-being is important to me and how I interact with them. Because it is. We all gotta like look out for each other, right? Like, community. Yeah. Anyways, it all comes back to community. And Sincere, I think, is bad for community. I think because he's a horrible communicator. Fuck this guy, dude. not fuck this guy, but like, come on. Anyway, enough talking about Sincere. Melanie, I have come around to, because I think that she's funny. I think that she's really smart. And I think that like, the way she acts, or like the way she like thinks through things, just feels very familiar to me. And she had an excellent read on Sincere where she said, he's like Christopher Columbus exploring stuff that's already been explored. And she really snapped at that one. That was so funny. It was so funny. And it was so apt, like so well placed. And so Melanie, what else do I have to say about her? She's so beautiful. I think she's coming around to the idea that Sincere is like really not a safe place for her. And I think that she like is willing to see Sincere in a gray area and say like, you've hurt me, but I can trust that you won't do it again. But now she's starting to like see this track record of like, he is going to continue to make the same mistakes. And maybe not that he's going to continue to make the same mistakes, but that he has continued to make the same mistakes. And so are you going to trust him this time? And isn't that just like the crux of a toxic relationship or an abusive relationship? Like can I trust you to not do this again? Like, do you demonstrate that your words will be tied to action? That like, do you grow from your mistakes? Like, do you learn from your mistakes? And so like, I get the vibe that Melanie learns from her mistakes. I do not get the vibe that Sincere learns from his mistakes. And so with that, we'll roll our D12 again. Okay, we got a 9. And so 9 is going to be Corbin. And so we'll be talking about Corbin and Kenzie. Corbin is like, whatever. I think that Kenzie is rightfully upset with him because he basically is just acting like a fuckboy. Like, and I don't know, maybe he's getting a bit of a villain at it because the only conversations that we have seen with him and Parmida, let me fact check that name. Okay, her name is Parmida. Shout out to me. Oh, the only clips that we've seen of Corbin and Parmida are them talking about how they're each so perfect and so like so hot, and they're just the same, and they're just like so attracted to each other. And we're not seeing like any substance to their relationship yet. And so I don't know if that necessarily means that it's not there, but I'm just saying that Corbin kind of led Kenzie on, in my opinion. Like, if he was not, like, he was all, I'm catching feelings for you. And I think he knew what that would mean to her. And I think that he was irresponsible with it. I think he was irresponsible with his love. Like, I think he was too fast and loose with it. Is that crazy? Like, I feel like I'm slut shaming them. Like, I feel like I'm love shaming them. Like, if you say something that you're feeling and you're like, okay, yes, I have these different ways to like express my love. Is it love bombing? Am I thinking of love bombing? And no, I think love bombing is if you like do that and then you like will later hold it over their head as like no, like I love you so much. Like, look at all the other things that I did to show you that I love you. So it doesn't matter that I did this thing that does not show that I like love and prioritize you, like that I hurt you, that I like intentionally hurt you. You guys, we're getting into it. We are well and truly getting into it today. So Corbin, whatever, he let her on a little bit, but Kenzie being like, well, I'm not lustful like Gabe. You said Gabe is lustful. I'm not lustful. She's like, I couldn't lustful? I mean, like, the way she is so offended about it is crazy. I'm not lustful like Gabe. Like, I didn't move like him. And yes, she did. She's moving exactly like Gabe. And there's no shame in that. There's exactly zero shame in that game. But she is making it like, ugh. I would never be lustful. Are you kidding me? Like, I think Corbin was kind of setting her up in that conversation. But I think that she drove it home, and then she doubled down on it when she asked the other boys if they were considering her because they thought she was lustful like Gabe. And but what they were saying was that like Bryce was making an actually apt comment at saying that like that would be like if we chastised Kenzie for exploring, and we didn't. Of course we didn't. But he was like drawing a comparison between Gabe and Kenzie's activity in the house and how they have like in the villa rather, that they have moved between multiple partners, sometimes at their choice, sometimes not, and that like they're basically like Bryce was like, hey, you the girls are slut shaming Gabe, which they totally were. But so he's like, yeah, that would be like if we slut shamed Kenzie, and then Kenzie was like, slut shame me? A slut? So you think I'm a slut? Okay, so what you think is I'm a slut and a whore and a harlot. Oh, you think I'm a dirty, filthy, disgusting person who is motivated by my sexual attraction to people that I openly talk about in the diary room? What? She's like, that is insane. That, and oh my God. So I like the way that she has like double and triple down on that is just like so icky. It's like such slut shaming in plain sight. Like, you're, I don't know, like going for, like, you're just having a go at him for being motivated by his like physical attraction to people. And like, that's not an invalid way to be. Like, it's not virtuous. What are you trying to say, Kenzie? Exactly. But so I do think she got done bogus by Corbin, and I hope the best for her. And I think she is moved on. I think like all the girls attacking Corbin is fine. I think it was chill. Like, he said some disrespectful stuff, and so like, yeah, it sucks that you were getting dogged on by like her and her 5 friends, but like, whatever. You guys are all friends, actually. Like, you guys are all in this villa environment together. This is, if that's like painting it with an inappropriate color, I don't know. Like, it's like you're trying to make it like you attacked me with your 5 friends. Like, that's misrepresenting the situation completely. Like, be fucking serious. And so I feel like he does that a lot, where he like makes some comment as though like they're under normal circumstances, or like, I don't know, just as like he just like misrepresents the situation, and it just pisses me off. And so whatever. We're going to keep rolling the dice. We're going to keep moving this along. Okay, I got a 5 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's Casey and Aniya. Casey, ew. He is just obviously like so fucking salty that he wasn't like quote unquote getting any from like Aniya. Then he had his little I pick Clark, his little, choosing Titi to come back with from Casa Amora. And like, yeah, he's entitled to do whatever he fucking wants. That is not what the girls are upset about. He again is like willfully misrepresenting like their argument. Like, he's straw manning them and being like, you guys are saying this, but like they're really not saying that. And then the beef between Trinity and Titi and Aniya, minor beef. I feel like minor beef. It was not that big a deal, and they like have obviously squashed it. But I was just like, Casey is such a baby man. Like, he really was just like not willing to hear that like what he had done was hurtful, and like willing to take any responsibility for the way that he moved. And it was just like, ew. And just be like, well, I had to do me. This is because I was prioritizing my experience, not yours. Like, he was given the same I pick Clark speech. Like, and it's like, bro, you sound so fucking salty right now. And you're so like high and mighty because you finally got you some, like, I don't know, like, I guess someone that will like make out in bed or something. Like, I don't know what his fucking deal is. But I think Casey wanted to leave Aniya without having to like admit that it's because he wasn't getting any like sexual action from her. And this is me like making some assumptions about what I've seen, but I think that's basically what he's saying is like, damn, I'm getting further with Titi than I like did with however many weeks with Aniya. And it's like, okay, so you could have just said that like that was important to you in a like a new connection or something. And he didn't want to do that. He didn't know how to do that without looking like a villain. And so he was like, I'm just going to stay in this connection until Casa more. And so, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about Casey in that aspect, but I do think I'm right about him being a baby man. So, Aniya, on the other hand, I'm not a big Aniya defender. I'll say that much. I generally think what I wrote in my notes was, Aniya can shut the fuck up, if I'm being honest. And that is a bit aggressive, I think. Like, But Aniya is, like, when she is speaking, like, I feel like when she was mad at Casey, it was always something new. Like, she would come to some conclusion and she'd be like, it's actually this part for me. And then it's actually this. And, like, it was always just so, like, nebulous. And so, like, I started ever so slightly like a Casey defender. Now that I've seen Casa Amora and everything and his return, I am not on his side in any way, shape, or form or capacity. But I'm not entirely on Aniya's side either. Like, I mean, I do think that, like, she was done wrong, and I think she has every reason to be upset with him. And so I'm on her side in that regard. Like, I, like, rock with her in that sense. I think she snapped with that one. But when she talks and, like, tries to convince and, like, tries to give advice to other people or, like, try to, I don't know. I'm just like, honestly, I don't like what you have to say, and I really don't care for it. I really don't care for your perspective. Because she says stuff like, I don't want to look like a dumbass, and, like, she's got this, like, it's like a very ego-driven perspective, and not one that I think is genuinely, like, self-centeredness, but it is about, like, how you show up. And I guess I would be guilty of that too. Like, I'm trying to say that I want to show up as, like, a safe person, but that's not, like, I'm not, like, I don't want to look like a dumbass. I'm, like, I don't want to look like someone mean and dangerous. Like, not looking like a dumbass is, or, like, not trying to look like Boo Boo the Fool, right? Like, is not, like, I don't think that's a virtue to chase, to, like, not look foolish. I think that, like, it's okay to look, and, like, it doesn't look foolish to have somebody hurt you. And that's what I'm trying to get at, that, like, trying to look, like, indestructible or infallible. And I understand that is, like, a nuanced issue, and I think it's rich for me to speak on that as, like, a white woman. But, like, I guess I wonder, like, black women sound off in the comments. Like, I feel like I've heard that kind of, maybe not, like, trope or stereotype, but, like, that kind of standard being enforced on black women, that, like, you have to put a brave face on, and, like, you have to, it would shatter or, like, be such an embarrassment to your I don't know, to your swag. Is that crazy? Like, to your reputation, to, like, have been hurt by somebody. And I think that is, like, an imaginary standard to an extent. Like, I guess it's not an imaginary standard, and it is, like, something that's obviously perpetuated, and, like, it's not like they're choosing to believe this narrative or choosing to have this narrative pushed on them. But I think it behooves us to, like, move away from that narrative. And so I see that I want Aniya to grow in that way and realize that, like, she doesn't need to come off as unshakable or, like, unbreakable. And this is maybe an inappropriate read again. Like, I feel like I'm making a lot of leaps and jumps here. And so and I am always, in a sense, making leaps and jumps because I don't know these people. Like, I'm seeing what a television show is depicting of them to me. And so I do feel like Love Island is a more, like, true to spirit experience than, like, Love is Blind, or, like, and I haven't seen Love is Blind. So take that with a grain of salt. Or, like, Temptation Island. Like, it's the number of episodes and the way that we advance in real time is just, like, it's closer, like, this podcast, like a weekly podcast, and that's closer to, like, live streaming, right? Like, it's a lot of content, and in that it's, like, a lot of these people's lives. Like, we are seeing, relatively speaking, a lot of these people's lives, and we're also at the same time seeing, like, next to none of it. Like, we all have 24 hours in a day. Like, I'm seeing an hour of a group of, like, 20 people's time once, like, 5 times a week or whatever. It isn't that much. Before I round off hounding on Aniya, actually, in an effort to stop hounding on Aniya, I am going to tell you about these crowns that I have over here to my right. And that's also because I just had a cake break. I had a break to eat some cake, and I have more here, and I'm going to eat some later. But I had cake because it was just my birthday. And so my birthday was on the summer solstice, June 21st, shout out. And so I did get a crown the day of from my friend Brenda, shout out. Okay, so here's the crown from Brenda. It has googly eyes on the 8, and it's yellow with 4 spikes, little blue pom-poms at the top, and then a red velvet strip at the bottom. And so it's made of like foam, but then it has a ribbon so I could tie it around my head. And so I tied it around my cowboy hat actually when I did that. I'll insert pictures on the screen of that now. But I also received in the mail just what, a day ago, a crown from my good friend Tess, and it is beautiful, and it says slay and it says diva on it, which is really, really fun, as well as also saying 28, of course. And so this one is silver. It's got a blue and a red stripe on the bottom, and then it's got more gems on it. And the 28 is bedazzled. It says slay and diva bedazzled. I was looking at it, not you guys. That is so crazy. But this one is beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. It's really beautiful. And so that is from Tess. And I did not receive it. So I actually have not worn it besides to take a picture. And so I'll put it on. Okay. Am I Slay Diva fabulous? Some are saying, I don't know, I feel like I should take out some hair in the back to like cover the bow, but the bow strands are still very long, very feminine hair length stuff. I don't know, I'm feeling a little self-conscious about how my hair looks in the back, but that's fine. We're going to power through because you guys really do only see the front of me. Boots. So with that being said, I'm done hounding on Aniya, but I do have smoke for her still. Where'd my fucking paper go? My morning dove fell. My friend Adrian made me a little paper dove, a little paper morning dove. It's got a tiny, cute little beak. Can we get into that? There we go. So shout out to Adrian. That's beautiful and amazing. Bing, bang, boom. Okay, so we've already talked about Sincere and Melanie, Corbin and Kenzie, Casey and Aniya. So we have Bryce and Trinity, and then Zach and Kayda left. And our natty rolls have been good to us. Okay, 9. We already had 9. Okay, what about 11? Okay, so I actually miscounted earlier, and so we also have Caleb and Jen. I did not see them on here. That's so funny. Not that you guys are not relevant. You're just the newest OGs. Okay, so if I actually do 9, that's Zach and Kayda. So, is it? Okay, yeah. Okay, so I'm counting and I'm doing it right this time. So Zach and Kayda. So Zach, I said, get off my screen. And I also said so insecure. And so that is because Zach is so fucking annoying and he is Charlie's brother, right? And so I famously hated Charlie. And so when I say I hated Charlie, I mean I just like every time he was on my screen, I was like, get off my screen. I don't like any screen time that includes you. And it's not that I think, you know, I don't know. I kind of think he's generally bad. Like, I don't think that his attitude towards life is how you say savory. It's not sweet. It's not spicy. It's just bland. And generally, maybe it's a little bitter. Like, it's just, I just do not like him. And I felt the same way about Charlie. That was just like the shit you say is just like everything you say, literally. Like, I guess Zach says some funny things sometimes, and so sometimes I'm chuckling. I'm having a giggle with him, but for the most part, I'm not having a giggle with him. I think he's so insecure, and it just like really shows on the show. And so like he seems to be self-aware of that to an extent, and so like I have hope for him, but it's not much, and I still don't like him. Kayda, on the other hand, beautiful, gorgeous, stunning, mug. She's kind of mogging everybody else in the Love Island group. She's kind of like her face card, ridiculous. And anyways, her looks aside, I think that she's really funny. I really have a giggle with her. And I think she's really real. Like, I think I like the way that she thinks generally. And it was really tough for me to see her crying over Zach. I was like, this bland man. She's so interesting. And he is just so not worth anybody's time. Like, obviously to each their own. Like, she obviously likes a lot of things about him. And I, again, I'm only seeing an hour of TV a day of like 20 people's lives. And so like, I get it. So yeah, so Zach and Kayda, I'm hoping for the best for them. Like, whatever. Kayda, if you like Zach, girl, get it. I'm certainly not gonna chase after that bone. That's not my bone. That's your bone. Anyway, we'll roll to see if we talk about Bryce and Trinity or Caleb and Jen next. Okay, so I rolled a 7. 1, 2. And that's Caleb and Jen. Okay, so we get to leave Trinity and Bryce, my faves, for last. That's a sneak peek. Caleb and Jen, I'm going to talk about them individually since they're not a couple, really. Caleb, I always have pause with white men from the South. He doesn't not give Republican vibes, but he doesn't seem to give Trump vibes, which I think is important. That being said, like, I feel like he would support trans people, like, and think that he might have pause about, like, gender affirming care to minors, but I don't know. Remains to be seen. Jen, on the other hand, love Jen. I think it's insane that she said her experience on the show has been so different from her real life, where, like, she's used to guys, like, fawning over her, and in the villa she's getting, like, scraps, no action. And I just think that's interesting that, like, on a reality dating show you would get less action than in real life. Like, that's just what a reality that she lives in. That's so interesting. Anyway, I'm going to take another cake break briefly, and then we'll talk about Bryce and Trinity. Okay, I think I'm back. My hair is tucked behind my ears, and I'm ready to fucking party. I want to talk about Bryce and Trinity. I have some notes about Trinity, and so most of my notes are that I love her, and I'm obsessed with her, and Bryce and Trinity are my OTP. I was talking about them in person with my friend Maria, and my coworker Maria, my manager Maria. That's her context. And she was saying that she loves Bryce and Trinity, and I was like, I love Bryce and Trinity. This thing is on. Is this thing on? And so Bryce grew on me a lot. I was, like, initially attracted to him, and then I was like, I don't know, like, this guy smells a little funny. But then he just has continued to, like, grow on me, and he seems like a very, like I said about Noah Khan, I feel like he's a good role model for young men. Like, I think he is introspective, and I think that he is thoughtful and compassionate, and I think that he's funny. But Trinity, she did say something that I disagreed with. It was, like, one thing. Other than that, I pretty much agreed with her all the time. She said the classic argument, you're going to throw away 3 weeks over 3 days. And it's like, yeah, 3 weeks over 3 days. I fear that is actually similar orders of magnitude. Those are kind of short periods of time. Like, I know that you guys are spending every day together, and I know that the environment inside the villa is not that of, like, the outside world, but still I feel like 3 weeks is still so brief. It's still so brief. She was talking about this with regards to Casey and I, and so, like, I do think the way that Casey was moving, this comment in that context made a little bit more sense, because she was talking about, like, oh, you're just, like, literally, like, you're done. Like, you come in here and you're like, I'm finished with you. I'm not even gonna, like, have a conversation with you, and I'm just gonna be like, well, this was I've moved on, basically. And so he did literally, like, throw it away, like, throw 3 weeks away, and was like, because of the way that he was moving, like, he was just like, fuck aniya, basically, and, like, I am gonna explore the fuck out of these connections, even though I was, like, not down to do that earlier, like, but now I am, and, like, he was just being, like, really confusing and, like, wishy-washy, which is, like, is that a crime? A little bit. It's a little bit of a crime. And so Trinity was so correct for this, actually, but I just wanted to talk about the sentiment of 3 weeks over 3 days. It's like, yeah, no, those are kind of the same. And so anyway, I love Trinity and Trice. I think Trinity is their celebrity couple name. So I'm Trinity all the way. So now let's get into the non-OGs, the Casa people. So we have Titi, Carl, Parmida, Amora, Dylan, Gall, Jaiden, and then we have Ariana Maddox, who I will talk about here. And so we're going to roll another dice for this, another die. And so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's perfect, because guess what? I have a D8. Here's my D8. It's dark orange with, like, I don't know, darker speckles in it that are, like, giving kind of green. And there's also a few red in there, but it's like it's like an orange, like, marigold, like a dark marigold is how it's reading. And then it has white numbers. And so it's really cute. Oh my God, I should do a birthday haul. A haul of the things I got for my birthday. Quick break to do a birthday haul. It's only a couple things, so this will be brief. One of them was, I mean, these crowns, of course, these were part of the haul, but she got me, I had it below my chair. Oh my God, look under your seats. It's a Midwest Princess cowboy, Midwest Princess camouflage trucker hat. Whoa, chaperone merch alert. And so I did ask for this explicitly, and then I did get it. Should I try it on? Okay, maybe the crown. We've done the crown, and now it's time for the Midwest Princess hat. I'm so sorry, Tess. I love this crown, but it is a little, I tied it a little too tight, and I want to put the hat on. Right. So I think, you know how I was talking about having like a country heel turn? I feel like getting into camouflage again is like a return to my roots in a way, and not in a country way. But I was just a kid that liked to wear camouflage. Like it was like in a like skater kind of way. And so I really thought I was like a skater girl when I was growing up in like elementary school. I loved that aesthetic. And so like I had a pair of Vans that I got at the Rogan's Shoes, okay, discount for like $20, bro. And I beat those things up. They had no traction whatsoever. They were horrible gym shoes, but I would wear them on the days that we had gym because I wanted to look cute and stylish, because it's actually always been a priority for me to be slaying. I've been a diva down from day one, and so part of my diva down roots is wearing camouflage. And I do remember wearing both camouflage capris. They were maybe not capris, they were just like my ankles were exposed, like it was really chic. And then I was wearing my Vans, and then I would have a full zip camouflage hoodie, so it was camo on camo, and then I had a cute little hat. God, I forgot that I have like always been stylish. Like I know that I'm like talking up these looks. Like I definitely looked goofy. Like don't get it twisted. I looked silly, but I was like, I had my own personal style. Like I had an opinion, and I was adventurous, and I would explore, and I like had a good vision and a sense of like what I wanted and how I wanted to look. And so that was also exampled by me, like, for example, trying to get like a Valentine's Day outfit for Valentine's Day at school. And so you might be hearing the automatic feeder go off. I surely hope not, but it might be in the background right now. And I have to yap immediately. Like these words have to come out right now. When I would go shopping for a particular outfit, I would like have a sense of what I was looking for, and I didn't want, like a lot of the times it was like I want something like, you know, no frills. Like I'm not looking for something to have any puckering. I don't want it to have any lace. I don't want it to have any whatever. And so I was like really picky with my style because I wanted to wear women's clothes, but I wanted it to feel more masculine. And so I've always dressed like quite androgynously, if you will. I think back then I called it a tomboy look, but now it feels like more appropriately called dressing like androgynously and borrowing from like masculine and feminine elements. And so yeah. And so camouflage, return to my roots, fashion, and slaying. Birthday haul, the other thing I got is, oh, you're gonna gag at this. Give me a sec. Okay, we're gonna talk about this, and then I'm gonna take a break to go look at the strawberry moon, okay? But it's a camera. It is a digital camera that is screenless. And so it's giving disposable camera vibes, but it has room on the provided micro SD card for up to 500 pictures. And it makes a cute little noise through its little speaker when you take a picture. I'll give you an example. There we go. That was my 20th picture on here. I've taken more, but I've like moved them off. And so when you move them onto your phone, it like removes them from the camera, which I think is kind of nice. And so, yeah, it's pretty fucking lit. I added this key ring and like strap to it. It's like a crossbody strap. I bought it for my phone, but I don't like putting a case on my phone. And so I couldn't, you know, adhere the strap to my phone without its little plastic thing. Its little plastic, lining that goes in the phone to hold it there. And so anyway, then I put this cute little yellow sticker on it, but it did originally have red on there, but that did go ahead and rub off. And so I don't know what I'm going to do to introduce more red on this, but like red, yellow, and blue are kind of like my fave little trio of colors. And so I anticipate going in on some more yellow and red decor on this. Maybe some red Sharpie would be tasteful. Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to take a picture of myself too. And it has a flash, guys. It's kind of chic. It's kind of like, and the pictures it takes are really good. I'll put them on the screen here too. And I'll link this down below. Not sponsored, but I would sponsor them thus far because I'm pretty impressed with the product. This was another thing that I did request by link. And so, again, shout out to my mom for getting me what I asked for. Shout out, shout out, shout out. Okay, so I have my D8 and I'm ready to fucking roll. With my Midwest Princess hat, shout out Chapel Roan. We got a 1. That's crazy. We started with the 1 last time. So 1 is Titi, who is obviously the person that KC brought back. And so I don't have much to say about her. Like, she's beautiful. She's gorgeous. She seems to have a good head on her shoulders. And let me talk about this good head on her shoulders thing, because I'll tell you who does and who doesn't. Let's go back through the OGs first. Bryce, good head on his shoulders. Sincere, no. Casey, no. Caleb, yes. Zach, no. Well, Zach might, but I still don't like him. Corbin might, but I still don't like him. I think he's not very honest, but his sense of the world seems to be pretty fair. Trinity, definitely. Melanie, yes. And I think she's being a little delusional right now. Aniya, oh no. Sorry, Aniya. Jen, yes. Kayda, yes. Kenzie, yeah. Sorry that I hesitated. It's just the me dogging on Aniya party. It's the rain on Aniya parade. And she would have every right to come for me. I would get it. So anyway, number 1, Titi. Seems to have a good head on her shoulders. I hope her and Casey really rock. You know, I'm wishing them the best. Next we have Carl. We did not see a ton of Carl, but he seems like a swell dude. I hope now that he has returned from us voting, which I did not vote. I haven't been up to date until literally last night. And so now I'm here, I'm in real time, and Carl seems great. And I hope that him and Aniya vibe better. Like, Parmida, really, really not much to say either. Like, I think her, and maybe I feel this way about TT too, like them stepping in to like defend their man, basically. I was like, this is just like not your place, dare I say. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of like with Trinity where she's like, respectfully, babe, I'm not talking to you. Like, I'm trying to engage with him and you're interrupting that. And like, I'd really appreciate if you let this man speak. And I do think it, in Casey and Aniya's, not Casey and Aniya's, Casey and TT's case, it was giving baby man on Casey's front, but then on like Parmida and Corbin, I don't think it was giving baby man in the same way. Like, I think it was giving more like why are we being like, he's a man, he's gonna do stuff with a man. Like, I was not with you, girl. Not only did you not need to talk, but you did not say anything good. And so respectfully, babe, I wasn't talking to you. Oh my god, I gotta go see the strawberry moon. Oh my god, I'll be right fucking back. Okay, I literally walked to the park nearby my house, which is like got big open space, right? Like uninhibited. Holy shit, I'm so warm. I didn't take my sweatshirt off. Silly. It's like 80 something degrees. I'm sweating, but I have AC on, so like shout out. Feeling blessed. Feeling #swag blessed in my #swag Chapel Roan merch. You know the vibes, whatever. I just wanted to start recording immediately after I came in because I did miss it, okay? I brought my camera. I was like quite literally strapped and did not see a strawberry moon. I think I was too late. And so it did start to get quite dim and I was not seeing any semblance of a moon whatsoever. And so I was like, it's not like something's going to get more intense. It just kind of ain't there. And so maybe I'll take a little peeky poo after I'm done recording this, but whatever. I'm bummed, but it's chill. Okay, so I talked about TT, and then I talked about Carl, and then I talked about Parmida, and so I'm not following the dice anymore, apparently. But let's do it again for fun. All right, I got 4, and that was next in the list anyway. So we're going to talk about Amora. Again, not much to say. She just got back in the villa alongside Carl, and so I think that is going to stir up some stuff between Sincere and Melanie, and I do hope that she leaves that man. I hope that she leaves that man. I understand why she might think he has potential to change. Don't we all? So Amora, good luck, girl. Dylan, who's Kenzie's man, now her couple after returning from casa, she seems to really like him. She seems to also like Gaul, and it seems like she'll continue to get to know him. Jen made a comment that was like, I think she likes to have her options, but Kenzie in the diary room has famously been like, it's, you guys, it's so hard. Like, you'd think it'd be so awesome, but it's just like so tough to like have two different connections. Like, it's so confusing. And so I think that was an interesting comment for Jen to make, considering that I thought you were Kenzie's girl. I thought you and Kenzie were like that. And so I don't know. I think I called this out to Colin real time, and I was like, I don't know if that was catty, but it like, I don't know, it felt a little catty, but also like, if I were Jen, I would be a little bit miffed that she's going after the guy that I'm into, but it's also fucking Love Island. You guys have known each other 3 weeks, so like, I don't know. Anyway, Gall. I feel like Gall is not really giving Jen much, but also like, we're not seeing a lot of them just in general, so like, I don't know, Jen seemed to think that they had a good connection going. Who's to say? I think he's cute. I think dark blonde features where it starts to like, because I love a contrasting like dark features, like dark hair, dark eyes, dark like eyebrows, beard, that lot. And so that is to say, I think Gall is pretty cute. I think like traditionally super blonde is not really my type, but I also didn't even think I had a type until like the first time I went on dating apps, and then I was like, oh, these all kind of look the same. I don't know, it took some time, but nevertheless. Jaiden is next. She came back with Caleb, hoping for the best. She seems to be funny, and so that's what I value more than probably anything out of these Islanders, is if they're funny. And so, because I want you to be entertaining me when you're on my screen, and so dance monkey dance. Speaking of dance monkey dance, Ariana Maddox. She is famously the host, duh. And so I liked a lot of her looks this season. I haven't really loved her dark hair, not in all the ways that she styled it, but this is subjective. This is my fucking opinion. What is more important, like I said, is that she's funny. And so I don't know if she's just been getting a bad edit for the beginning of the season, but she was not really getting any like good commentary in. And like good commentary in that like it didn't sound literally phoned in, like someone was telling her what to say, and it was not like interesting. It was like scripted, wasn't on the fly. And so it seems like in these more recent episodes she's getting a little bit more on the fly comments that are like getting into the situation at hand, you know, like digging deeper, asking the right questions to the Islanders at the right time, but then also like just making funny commentary. And so I feel like I have to include this context, that is that I want Ariana's job. I want to be the host of Love Island. I think I would do a bang-up job because I think I'm hilarious, obviously. I think I do a bang-up job, and so I'm a little bit just, like, jealous of her. And so, hey, thoughts and prayers for me, guys, to eventually become the host of Love Island when Ariana no longer wants to do it, when she willfully and gracefully steps aside to lift and pull other women up. So with that being said, let's do one last roll just for shits and gigs. And we got a 7. So 7 is going to be my number growing up. Like, that was my number that I had for my soccer jersey the first time I got to choose. And I was like, yep, lucky number 7. Nice to be me right now. And so then 8 was the number that I had in high school soccer, which you could argue was like a little more significant. And I held the same number for 3 years. And so, you know. See you later. Okay. Roll the dice. We got a 10. And that's because I'm a 10. I'm a 10 out of 10. And everyone's a 10 out of 10 if you really think about it. But so I'm here to actually not only serve looks and serve Midwest fabulousness, because I have my Midwest Princess on hat again, and a Midwest Cowboy shout out t-shirt. And I also have some pink, like, Juicy Couture sweatpants on. I will save my big juicy ass for the OnlyFans. Just kidding. Anyways, I'm here to record an addendum to my thoughts on Love Island, because I did catch up on the last episode last night where there was kind of more like shaken out from Casa Amora, and like conversations were had between Aniya and Casey and Kenzie and Corbin. And so basically the addendum that I have to say is quite short and sweet here, and it's that I think the men are bad at communicating. And I think it's mostly them. And I think they just like so badly want to like say their piece and have the last word and be able to like really check and own these girls. Like they want so bad to like be in the right and to like, I don't know, have the girls like quote unquote understand where they're coming from. Like if I'm giving them a really charitable interpretation, it's like they just want to be understood and heard, but they are not willing to like sit in the discomfort that is like taking accountability for their actions that hurt the women. And yeah, when the girls try to make them live there, or when the girls are living there because they're hurt, right? The guys are just like, oh, I guess I'm just the worst person ever. I guess I just suck so bad. Like you're wanting me to like, it's like the I Pick Clark of it all. Like when Taylor said last year to Olandria that he was moving with him in mind, but she wanted him to move with her in mind. And it's like, that's not really the point. Like the point was like, be fucking respectful. And have like maybe an ounce of decency and not just like shit on your connection in the villa, like as though it was meaningless to you. Like, do I think it got a little blown out of proportion in the recoupling when everybody returned from Casa more? Sure. Like, they were having big feelings, but they expressed them, and they were like, you guys did us dirty. Like, hell yeah, we're mad. Fuck yeah, we're mad. And I don't know, the guys were just like, that's not fair. You guys are yelling at me. You guys are making me feel bad. You guys are making me feel bad that you guys feel bad. And it's just like too much for me. That's how the boys are acting. And so I was talking with Colin about this and was like, is this like a sign of the times? A sign of the like manosphere content really getting to young men in America? Perhaps. And that makes me feel horrible. That makes me feel worried and fearful for the women who are trying to date in that age range. And just, I mean, it makes me feel fearful for everybody in all given circumstances, because it's just such a like slip back into very like misogynist ways of thinking. And so I feel that it's, I don't know, like it's setting feminism back several years. It's really, I'm proud to see the girls, you know, like seeing through the bullshit and like not succumbing to what would be, it would be really easy to just be like, oh my God, you're so right. Or like, or to have a situation like Sincere where he like therapy speaks his way out of it. But yeah, I hope that this is like demonstrating to the viewership at large that like this is not what it looks like to take appropriate like accountability for your actions. And as I demonstrated in this episode yesterday, there is a way to apologize, and it is not by saying like wah 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 wah, woe is me. I'm just so upset that I made you upset and you're making me feel upset about it. So do with that what you will. Sound off in the comments if you have any thoughts on the Love Island contestants being influenced by the manosphere. That's it. Kisses. Back to the episode. So with this all being said, anyway, I'm gonna sign off. Thank you guys for listening to my thoughts and feelings about the world at large over the last couple weeks, and I will be back to you in your feeds with a new episode hopefully next week. I've got Gab with Sab Time baked into my week, so this should be happening on a regular basis. Peace and love. Next episode, I'll probably talk about Love Island again. I don't know. We'll start to engage in some other nonsense, and I'll get back to you. Until then, oh my God, holy shit, content shout out. I'm not going to shout out Love Island, but I will shout out Woodland Pierville. Yes. He is making some content around Love Island as well, so if you're interested in that discourse and you liked maybe my perspective or what I had to say, I have not consumed his content about it yet, but I will be now that I have recorded my take, and I am anticipating that we have similar thoughts and feelings about it if the past is any indication. But he always also dazzles me with some new insights, and I'm always like, damn, that is just so interesting. I did not think about it that way, and now that you say that, I can see why you would think that, but I still think my thought. So anyway, Woodland Pierville, not Woodland. He's probably uploading more short form stuff on TikTok as well, so if that's your cup of tea, then sip it. If that's your cup of tea, then sip it. Hashtag Tina can't drive. Hashtag if that's your cup of tea, then sip it. How many nachos can I reheat in one episode? Stay tuned to find out. I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. See ya. See ya later.